Okay, so now we're looking at, from the guard, there's a position we're using as a staging point to finish. So he's building posture, he's pushing on my stomach and hips, and I pop the arm off just for a moment, all right? And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna put my feet to the floor, and I'm gonna sit up to this overhook. I didn't want to shoulder into your face, that's why I moved you. So I got this overhook all the way up at the shoulder while I grab this wrist, same time. So I'm trapping both of his arms, because if I just get the overhook and try for whatever, he'll start using this arm to free this arm, all right? And then as I sit back, I'm gonna bring this knee through and this one behind his shoulder. So I'm pinching him between my knees. This one's behind the shoulder, this one's in front of the other shoulder, while I'm holding this arm tight against, I'm pulling his bicep tight against my shin. All right, and he feels that pressure. So getting here, and notice I'm also palming my own ribs so that I get a good squeeze. You'll notice that when you have an overhook and it's open-ended with this hand just kind of floating, it's weaker, it's looser. But if basically my arm is now attached at both ends to my body, which makes it a closed loop and it's tighter. And also if you work on the attributes, the rear deltoids, the lats, etc., bicep, to pinch and squeeze with that overhook, it pays off. All right, so now from here, the first thing I'm expecting, this is all about getting him to react. Now, one thing he wants to do is pull this arm free. He pulls on this, and I resist. So we're like this. He pulls, I resist, until I feel him really pulling with some conviction. And then once I let it go, pull, the arm goes back and my leg goes over his shoulder. So I timed it to where as soon as I let go, he pulls his arm free, and it gives me a chance to slip my leg over his shoulder. And now the rest should be academic for all of you from here, which is I've got one arm in, leg over the shoulder, leg diamond position. So now I can let go of this overhook, hips up, arm across, grab the head, grab the shin, foot on the hip. All that at once, pretty much. Boom. And then rotate and get your angle. Notice my arm is doing two jobs here. It's trapping his arm while I hold the head so that this one can hold the shin while I'm jockeying for position and getting my angle so that I can get a proper triangle. If you stay here parallel to him, you're not going to get him to tap or nap. You got to get a better angle, and this facilitates that. All right?
I just get choked really easy.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, once you get that angle, it's tight. Okay, so we're here again, and we're going to explore options. So from here, I've got the overhook again, and I'm like this. Now, instead of pulling on this arm and letting him pull it free and slipping my leg over, I'm going to focus on this arm. And what I do is I start to put pressure behind here and turn down, and I see what he does with this arm. If he starts to turn it, I have two choices here. I can just squeeze like this, and I can reach back and grab it. I'll hold this elbow where it is, and I'll start to push his wrist. My legs are doing enough to hold him still that I can hold, or I can get a true Kimura as well. So I can lock it, or I can just grab. This is quicker, but just grab and grab. And I'm pinching here, so I'm just pushing his arm up past my leg like this. You can get monkey grip, or you can even oppose. In this case, it's an exception. It's not the classic Kimura, so I can grab it like a wrist tie, and I can push it up. What people will do in desperation is they'll straighten his arm, try to straighten this, yeah, and then I'll turn it over. I'll go straight to this. So my knee is already blocking his face, so I catch it here, and I get an inverted cross arm lock. All right, so that's option 2 and 3. I'm gonna show you 4. From here, I had him like this. If he pulls out that way and turns his arm, I can also bring this foot in front, around the other side of his head, rotate out, kick my legs forward, sit up, slide out. Sweep my feet out to the side. I'm reaching across his back, hand on the floor. My head is going this way as my hips are coming up off the mat. I concentrate my weight on his shoulder. And there's your omoplata. So, all of that was made possible by that initial position with the overhook and the knee here, holding his arm, trapping him. And then he starts to try to work that arm free. So looking at this again, do it the same as you can see. So he's working it there, and I sit up to this overhook nice and tight, really tight. And I sit back and I bring my knee in, and I'm holding this arm. Now he's trying to pull this free. And as he pulls, I set him to let it go, and boom. Leg goes over, cross my ankles immediately. Now, interestingly, not to confuse things, but while I've got this, I can raise this up and start to do a kimura or an underhook and a kimura against the trapped arm. All that works within this leg diamond if I want to do it. I can go straight to the triangle as well, and I got him from there. But just to keep in mind that once I've got that arm trapped, I can do other things with it. Let's move up. A little closer there. Now, and here again, I sit up to this, bring my knee through, and now instead of worrying about this, he's starting to try to pull this free, so I turn my shoulders down, my hips slide out a little bit, but I'm squeezing. I'm limiting his motion, his options to move this arm around. And now from here, I can just trap it. I can hold it like this and just get it. Or I can get it this way.
I feel it goes way tighter.
Yeah, that second one will be tighter. It's just not as quick.
Yeah.
In some cases, I just got to do it like that. Yeah, you can get a lot of ways. So then he tries to power out of it. So I let it cross over in front of my chest. And then my knee has to block his head out that way because he's going to try to come this way. And he's going to try to bend his arm, join his hands, and bring his head back in. That's what he wants. So my knee has to force his head that way so he can't save this arm.
Is this the one where?
This is a recurring thing in jiu-jitsu where when I'm forcing his head this way, his arm becomes weak. Okay, like that. Now once I'm here again, if he turned it, then I can bring this here, sit through, sit up. He can stay up like that, that's fine, or he might collapse if I slide out. Either way, go ahead and stay up.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Even if he's up, that does happen. And then I've got this tight though, so he can't get his arm out. I concentrate the weight on his shoulder, and I come forward. All right? So all that from an overhook with a wrap on the other arm.